dear wizards and witches. In this video I will show you how you can make this little coin collecting Niffler in a box. We start with this panda box I bought on Amazon for around €12. As you can see, it has a functional little panda collecting coins and making some annoying sounds. The first step is to loosen all the screws and to take out the inner part. Loosen the head, because this is what we need to replace. Then make sure that you cut one of the wires leading to the speaker, so we get rid of this annoying sound. Then put everything back together, but don't screw it. Now I go on with this air drying modeling clay. I thought that I had to use this air drying modeling clay because I want to model directly onto the plastic piece, but later on it fell off anyway, and I realized that I could have used any modeling clay, so I would rather suggest to use Sculpey or Fimo because it is much easier to handle and much more precise. This air drying modeling clay is not that easy to model and it is really soft, but it worked out. One problem was to get the head short enough so it still fits for the movement out of that door opening later on, and there is very little space, but Nifflers usually have a long beak, but this just wasn't possible. So this is what I came out with. It's not perfect, but you won't see the details later on in the finished build, so I think it's okay. And we will make some details by painting it later on. Now we give that paw a more Niffler-like look by adding some claws. Just make sure that the box still closes. And then let it dry. Now it's time to add some details by painting it. You don't have to do this because it already looks like a Niffler, but I hope to make it look better by painting it with acrylic paint. So I started with black paint to imitate the fur on that paw, and then I used grey to point out the claws. Then I went on with the fur on the head. Of course, I looked at some photos of a Niffler from Fantastic Beasts and I saw that the fur goes down much further between and around the eyes. So I just painted it like that and tried to imitate some fur around the eyes. And this is what I came up with. Of course, I painted the nose holes black too. Now I'm adding a red wash normally used on minifigures, because I saw that the tip of the beak of a Niffler has a shade of red, and this is what I came out with. And now I try to give that paw a wash too, which wasn't the best idea. Normally a wash only stays in the deeper places, like between the fingers, but on this air drying modeling clay the whole hand looks kind of dirty. This isn't that bad because Nifflers normally dig into the ground, so they probably have dirty hands, but I wouldn't do it like that again. I decided to highlight the line of the mouth so it is better seen. And I saw on the photo that the fur of a Niffler isn't just black, but has some grey and white strands, so I just tried to paint them. Again, my painting skills didn't make it great, but you won't see that later on, so it's okay. This is my final result for the head. And I just stick the head back into place, just make sure that the box closes fully. And now it's time to make that box look more like from the Wizarding World. So I bought this wood-like foil and just covered the top of the box. For the sides I wanted some wooden boards, so I made them out of cardboard and covered them with that wood foil. I used my wand to multiply them. Now just glue them on with the hot glue gun or any other glue. Just make sure that you don't see the original box. This already looks much better, but I wanted to cover the corners to make it look like there are some kind of pillars. It's again pretty straightforward, just cut 4 equal pieces and cover them with that wood foil. And obviously I had to make 4 of them. And again, just glue them on with hot glue or any other glue. Okay, now I unmounted that plate and I spray painted it gold so it fits that Niffler look more. And I added some details with silver and copper acrylic paint. And again I give it a little wash. Now it's time to mount it back on. It's a bit stiff, but it works. I wasn't that happy with those corners because it doesn't look like a real wooden box if the pillars end in such small pieces. So after putting all the screws back in, I bought these golden fittings and glued them onto the corners. On the back side I had to cut them because otherwise the back part couldn't open anymore. And I think this already looks much better. For the last step I designed some signs on my computer with CorelDRAW. And I used a wet unused black tea bag to dab the paper. This makes any white paper look like old paper. I use this technique very often. And then I just cut them out and glued them onto the box with some photo glue so you can remove them. And this is the final box. It works, so let's try it outside. So that's it. This was my first video tutorial with a voiceover. I hope you liked it. If so, please like it and leave a comment. As always, I don't know when the next video will come, so if you want to get notified, make sure you subscribe to my channel.